Excellent. Yeah. Gatsby.
Feeling good? Feeling right?
Feeling good. Got this air vent above me.
I know.
My nipples are hard. You
I'm
know?
like,
this is.
You're like so lucky you wear a suit because I'm like freezing, and they're like, "Well, it's for the kitchen. That's why it's so." And I was like, "Oh, we're just gonna drink it off. It's okay."
Well, no, I believe me. I'd much rather be freezing than hot summer. I hate the summers here. I don't like heat.
But you're in Vegas, so you're telling me you would rather be in 10 foot of snow back home?
I would.
You're crazy.
I think it builds character too.
No.
Mike knows what I'm talking about.
I built 27 years of character there. I don't need no more fucking character.
Really?
I don't take me to Mount Charleston. I don't want to go snowboarding. Nope, I'm good.
I don't know. I'm just, maybe because I'm so warm-blooded already.
Well, see, that's why you're gonna like the Latinos, because we're already hot-blooded. You know, keep it spicy.
Yo, dude.
You say
that's
gonna be his thing.
That's my life.
That's gonna be his end all be all.
In college and undergrad at University of Miami, it was just like getting A's on tests and getting rejected by Latin women. Like that was my MO. It was like.
Well, what is your approach?
Now I'm much better. I was green when I went to see, like, it's a whole thing. I wish I lost my virginity in high school, because then by going to college early, I think I would have had more success early on. And then losing your virginity in college, like, it could have been, I think I stunted my growth a little bit.
Okay.
Because, listen, it's like...
No, because that's a long time. Most people don't wait till college, you know? Like,
well, yeah.
I thought I was fucking God because I waited until fucking 15 and all my friends were whores, you know? So it's like, I was like, oh, I'm the last one. I'm amazing.
See, and it's not that I didn't have options. People, like... It's just I don't know. I had a whole thing where I wanted to like lose it to somebody I was in love with, and you know.
You say it like it's bad now because it's no one says it. Yeah, I get it. You wanted normal fucking shit, right?
Yeah, it would have been good to
a nice experience,
right? And then if I had that because listen, Latin women can sniff that in 2 seconds off you. It's not like, you know, they know if you're a virgin. Like there's no question, you know.
So who'd you lose virginity to?
Are we already starting?
Yeah. We didn't even entrance yet,
God.
but this is a good entrance.
Wow.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Fade and Truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the growth. I'm so excited to have a plug of Las Vegas. He is your go-to for the latest on sports, media, fun, TV personality, host, podcaster, and Fox 5 lead journalist. I got Mr. Mike Davis on the show.
Happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me, Angela.
Did I miss anything?
No. I'm actually... can you endorse me on LinkedIn for everything you just said?
Cheers.
I'm going to put that on my Hinge. Everything you just said there.
Oh my God, we got to get you off Hinge.
Is that a bad one, Hinge?
They're all bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I do love... I think a profile picture on Hinge on a green velvet sofa like that.
Look, I'm telling you,
like, what is that? Because that just velvet? Communicates like luxury, right?
So I took it easy on you, like my Latin ass. I was gonna come in heels in this like silk outfit because I'm
really?
Like, I need to be like ready for this velvet, you know. And then I was like, I got a lot of bruises. I've been doing a lot of Muay Thai and pole dancing.
Really?
So between both of those, my legs is a little fucked up.
Muay Thai. So what do you actually beat people up, or they beat you up, or how does that work?
Yeah, you just spar and then do like a lot of pad work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a good workout.
I love it. You know why? Because I've been working out my whole life, like, you know, athletically. I didn't play sports, really.
You didn't play any sports?
I did competitive cheerleading when I was younger, and we used to travel and do... It conditioned me. It's what got me, like, my endurance up, but then I just wasn't really interested in sports. So I've always, like, worked out. I competed once. And now I'm trying to find, like, exercises that are fun.
Right.
If you climb a pole... you are a strong ass person because that is hard. So I'm like, between that and then Muay Thai, like, I'm about to be ripped.
Yeah, that's a good actually regimen. We're from this. The thing is, like, so it's just funny because we're both from New Jersey. Like, I didn't know anybody growing up in New Jersey who did Muay Thai.
I don't ever hear people say New Jersey. I always hear Jersey.
You say Jersey?
Yeah.
Well, because I don't know. South Jersey, it's not as much Jersey. It's weird, right? Don't
Well,
you
because
think?
people tell me I have a Philly accent.
You have a very South Philly
But it
accent.
makes sense now because I literally thought about this. I'm like, it's only 40 minutes from AC. Like, it makes
Right.
sense
You
how
have-
close we are.
Yes, yeah. I lost mine a little bit when we first met over the phone, FaceTime. I thought you were Italian, like, because your accent. Because it was less about your complexion, but I was like, oh, it's the accent,
Right.
like, because I have like godparents, I have people in my life who are Italian from that area, and I was like, oh, you're Italian. You're
Yeah,
not.
I
She's
get
not
that.
Italian, ladies and gentlemen.
Everything but, I think.
Yeah.
So your family's from Italy?
No. Do you think I'm Italian?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you
no, I'm
Italian?
not Italian.
Where's
no.
your
I
family?
want to be Italian. I've had a ton of eggplant parm, chicken parm in my life, rigatoni.
Yep.
But I'm not Italian. But no, my mom's from New York. My dad's from Philly. So naturally, I'm from New Jersey.
So he's just a tri-state baby.
I'm a yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
See, that's what the tri-state's good. Don't you think people from the tri-state, what is your first kind of inclination? When you hear somebody's from New Jersey or from the tri-state area, what's your first feeling about them?
I love you. I
Really?
love you. I want to talk to you. Not if I was home, right? Because if I was home and you were from New York or Philly, I might
Right.
be like, yeah, whatever. I'm home. I don't need to talk to you. Here, it's like, oh, I'm in Vegas. Everyone's a weirdo. If you're from the tri-state, it means, one, you probably say what's on your mind. You don't
Yeah.
sugarcoat shit.
Yeah.
Unless you've been here too long and then you've conformed to the lifestyle. But for the most part, it's like, you know that this person is going to give you the raw shit. And like, if you talk to them, maybe they're more quick in business. Maybe they're more quick in professional things.
Yes.
Like, maybe they want to get things done.
Yeah.
That's how I would view it.
Yeah.
And then I also view that they probably might have a little bit of an anger issue. And might just be a little more blunt than people like.
Yeah, blunt, lack of patience. But I think a lot of these things are very. I think they're qualities that produce productive people in a lot of ways. Like, I don't view it as a bad thing. Actually, I'm so grateful that I was born there because I do feel like it's such a part of who I am.
Yeah, like
You
that's
know?
what I say. Like, people are like, you from Vegas? No, I'm from 609 for life. Like, I'm from Jersey, right?
Yeah.
But there's no opportunity there for mostly anybody. And what I'm doing, like, the opportunity's out here. So you guys can come visit me, right? But
Yeah.
it's just like I couldn't get stuck there. A lot of people are complacent.
Yeah.
People are in the industry. You know, I grew up in the industry bartending forever, so
Right.
degenerate lifestyle since I was fucking 12, pretty much, you know, and then
Yeah.
you get in everywhere. So a lot of people stick in that mindset when they get into their 20s and then 30s, and it's just like normal for them. But at a certain point,
Yeah.
like, we can't be doing the same things, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
think the biggest thing that I've recognized is that people who stay there from there, it's hard to rewrite your history, right? Like, you are who you are, right? And
That's a good line.
There's something I really think is beautiful about that, and I like that because I don't love how you can just migrate west and just kind of recreate your entire situation. And there's something about that I think that is beautiful, but there's something about that that's inauthentic to me, you know? And so it's a love-hate kind of thing. I do think the more that you leave those traditional systems and situations from back home, yeah, you can just kind of reinvent who you are.
But that's why I say when I say people conform, right? Because they leave tri-state,
Yeah.
they come here, maybe
Right.
they were a clown back home, maybe you didn't talk
Right.
to them back home, right?
Right.
You move out here, now they're, Mike, hey Mike, remember
Right.
when we like,
Yeah.
no, remember when
Right.
like we didn't like each other?
Well,
Or
do you-
remember, you know, it's
No,
just-
100%.
and then people act like they take those characteristics that come from being a Jersey person, which
Yeah.
are honest, blunt, you know, just professional, business-minded, whatever. They take
Yeah.
that, and then when it comes here, they get lax, or they start acting weird, or it's like they start beating around the bush, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, we from
Yeah.
the same area. Like, what's going on? You know?
It's interesting. Do you
And people like saying that they're a different person out here.
Right, and that breeds a certain type of individual, and I think yeah, and listen, there's no right or wrong. It's just I'm just kind of describing my feelings about how I feel, how people change or
How long have you been here?
I've been in Vegas for 4 years, but I've really been out of for my career. I've been out, and for school I've been out of New
like
Jersey,
18,
Philly
19?
since like 18, 19,
Yeah.
20. You know, I've been back for a year or two stint with certain jobs, but mostly out.
Right.
Now, do you feel like people evolve, or can people actually change? Like, do people actually change, or do they just evolve?
That would be me.
You've changed.
100%. Like,
And how have you changed?
180.
See how I'm already like making the interview. I'm already changing into
great.
an interview.
No, I love it. Do you think this is good here? I just want to make sure this.
I guess so.
isn't
Yeah.
Okay.
How have you changed for the better? How have you changed for the worse?
Okay. For the worse, no, there's no worse.
There is no worse.
No, always
Everything's
better.
positive.
So, let's see. I'm going to be 34 this year.
Okay.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
How old are you?
31.
Okay. Oh, you're younger than me. I'm his Latin cougar tonight. So, I'm going to be 34 at 23, 24. My dad was deported from prison. He was already in jail for years before that.
Really?
I was working in the strip clubs. I think I just got into Tropicana at Providence at that age. Or actually,
Tropicana.
Yeah, I got in like 20, 21. But I was a hot mess. I mean, my life was literally just trauma.
Wait, can I ask you a couple questions? Are we allowed to dive in? I'm just curious. So, growing up, your dad, did you know your dad growing up well, or he was in prison while you were growing?
So basically, I grew up with both my parents.
Yeah.
They divorced when I was maybe 10, 11, which was for the better. My dad and me lived together because I got banned from, I couldn't walk at graduation at my Christian school because I got everyone to smoke weed at prom. So mind you, my 22-person Christian class, 10 of them couldn't walk.
Years later, though, you didn't have the foresight to know you'd have a podcast named Faded Truth later. So, I mean, it kind of was apropos. It was nice.
I only went because my brother and sister were a hot mess, and they tried to put me, not in mainland, right? So they wanted to avoid all the stuff
mainland
that happened.
High school, yeah.
So, I was living with my dad because my mom thought I was a drug addict after that, after I got, suspended for smoking weed. So I went to live with my dad, and we were, basically hopping around, and he got arrested when I was 18.
Wow.
We were living together in some guy's basement.
What?
We were living there for we had 2 months to live there.
Oh my God, that's hard.
And he got taken to jail. So I'm thinking he's going to get out of the county in Mays Landing 3 days later. I'm like, he don't got nothing, nothing's on him.
Right.
And then fast forward 4 years, he was in prison. He was in Essex County, Middlesex County, and I just had to go every week, and I was the only person, I was just 18, fucking free lawyer in fucking Newark, just trying to figure it out, right? Because my only blood is now taken away from me.
And your mom doesn't enter the picture.
And me and my mom aren't talking at this time because she thinks I'm a drug addict. I was homeless.
This is awful. This is hard.
You brought it out. So after he went to prison, I was basically homeless for a little bit. Then I worked at the strip club, started making some money, got my own studio apartment, and then from there I started working in nightclubs and the casinos, and it was just whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole time was toxic. I mean, did a lot of fucking drugs, did a lot of shit that I wasn't proud of, but I had no choice really as far as that. And I wrote a blog on it because I was you really have to forgive yourself, because I compromised myself as a person a lot in my 20s, and I really punished myself for a long time.
How did you punish yourself?
Just mentally. Mentally, you would think, you just feel guilt, you feel like you're a bad person, you keep these things
yeah, from an outside perspective though, it seems like you're surviving, and it sounds like you're so young, your support system is taken away from you. You just have to survive. You just have to make do. So to me, it's it
sounds normal.
I feel bad that you would beat yourself up over that, because it's...
Well, I always kind of prided on, I just didn't want to end up like the rest of my family in the same professions and the same mindsets and the same negative cycles of, you know, just trauma and just not good things. And so fast forward, I'm 27 in Jersey. I lost all my jobs in Atlantic City pretty much from the economy. And I was like, now is the time. I have to get out now, because what else is going to happen, right? I have to go. So I finally get to Vegas, and a month before I move, my brother passes away. My brother dies from an overdose.
Oh, my God.
And I already had got the house. I already had flown out here, got the rent, everything settled before I came. I wasn't one of those people that's I'm going to go to Vegas for $40, right? I'm like, no, I got some money stacked. I need to go. I got to get out. And I just knew staying there wasn't going to break any trauma cycle for my family or myself. Even though it was very hard.
Smart, yeah.
I was I already did this.
Something new.
I got to go. And now, fucking 5 years later, I started the podcast 3 years ago. I was still the same toxic person when I moved here. So I owe it all to starting the show, because I started meeting different people. people that were open-minded, people that were happy with their life.
Right.
And I'm like, I never grew up around nothing.
No, I
like
do
this.
think and as we're learning more, and I think to circle back to what we started with, an issue of the East Coast is the labeling, right? And putting people in boxes, and it's hard to, so there is elements of being able to reinvent yourself and move to other places that,
I mean, now it's like my whole mind is completely different. I've been fucking, healing. I've done weird energy therapies out here. Like, I've done so many crazy things that have, like, taken trauma that I put on myself from other people.
Yeah.
And released a lot of, like, just resentment, pain, everything. And so now I'm like, everyone's like, oh, we would never know, and I'm like, well, if I met you 10 years ago, I would have probably punched you in the face, and not gave a fuck. And now I'm like, I have a lot of patience, like we just talked about. Today was my tech patience day, okay? My website went down for fucking 3 hours. I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
Like, I had to get the GoDaddy up at work in the Microsoft office, and I'm like on the phone for 3 hours, and I'm like, years ago I would have just hung up and not even gave a fuck.
Well, cheers to. I'm happy for you.
Back to what you said, I 100% know people can change because I am living proof. And now that I've healed relationships with parents or siblings or things like that, I know that, like, they want to change too. But it takes everyone can only change in their own time. Something in me said, I don't want to keep doing this. And I took the initiative, right? But you can only try and help people so much. They have to want to do something.
It's true. You had something special within you that it propelled you to make that change, which is that's good.
Did you think you ever had a rock bottom in your life?
No, I don't think I've had.
Good for you.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's amazing.
What is it? Could it be happening in a week? Or,
once you start dating a Latina.
Right. No, I think I've been very. I haven't had such like a roller coaster kind of existence. I've been pretty. Yeah.
Good. I want to say shout out to Gambit. We're here in Henderson in Las Vegas. Shout out to Gambit Steakhouse. We're in the Speakeasy. And I'm
beautiful.
I'm excited because when I saw the pictures, I'm like, I hope I can record in here. And he was like, this is the room. This is the quietest one. I'm like, yes.
It's beautiful here.
Yeah, so we're in the VIP lounge. Check it out if you guys want to come in. They have live jazz in here over there, so we'll probably get some video of that later. See how long Mike wants to hang. All right, so I want to just kind of bring it to the beginning. So you're born in Philly, raised in Jersey.
Yes.
And then how do you get to working for CBS in Texas? Is that after college?
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to University of Florida?
Miami. So Hurricanes. So in high school, I was always like the funny guy, just always kind of funny, friendly with a lot of people. I always knew I wanted to be a talk show host. Like, I've known since I was in 4th grade. I just knew it within me. Like, I wanted to be like AI and Kobe for a lot of my life. And then in 4th grade, I did a presentation on the silverback gorilla in Mrs. Martin's class. And it was 2001 when I was in 4th grade. And I started just riffing on like this presentation on the silverback gorilla, and people were laughing, and the teacher kind of got a little upset because I kind of crossed the line with some things I was saying, and she called my parents after, and my parents were like totally cool with it, and I think they saw how awakened I was, like with performing and being funny and being the center of attention and certain things like that. And so I really, from that moment, I was like, oh, I like this. And it's hard, like in 4th grade, I watched David Letterman. I liked a lot of stand-up people, Chris Rock, but you don't know I watched all that, but you don't know.
All that I love.
I loved all that, like in the Amanda show, like I was into all that, Seriously, like Keenan and Kel. So those things.
Who put the screw in the tuna?
So those things had a big impact on my life, but it's hard to have those things register in a formal way. Like when your dad's not a talk show host or your mom's not a talk show host, like you don't think that's a job. Like when you grow up in New Jersey, you're not thinking, oh, I can become a talk show host. Like maybe if you grew up in LA,
right.
But I didn't, where we're from.
Again, closed box.
Yeah,
there's only certain things that you can do, really.
Right. So I didn't just, but I think I willed myself every year a little bit more. And by the time I got to high school, I really started thinking of ways that I could double down on these skill sets and get better. So I started doing stand-up in high school, so I'd perform at open mics, and I started just really doubling down on those skills. And by the time I went to college, I was like, okay, I want to pursue being a talk show host. I did stand-up a lot in college. So you knew when you went to
college, you were like...
Yeah.
Because I saw you had a degree in, master's degree in journalism?
Yeah, so that was late. That was even later.
Okay.
So that was...
I'm like, how do you... what classes are you taking?
Right. So undergrad in college, I'm at University of Miami. I thought I was going to play tennis in college, so I kind of had this circuitous kind of whole experience about college. But because I was number 6 in New Jersey. My dad was a professional tennis player for a little bit. So I was pretty involved in that, but I wanted to become a talk show host, and I didn't want to become a tennis player. And so I go to Miami, take a lot of those classes, and I end up leaving school early to go work for Howard Stern in New York because he was one of my heroes. So that's when I started working for him, learning about journalism, learning about interviews, learning about working at Sirius XM.
How old are you working there?
How old?
Yeah.
21.
Wow. And on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah, so I was crazy. I was his gopher.
But it's like you're working on the Howard Stern show at 2021. Your life had to have been amazing. Howard Stern, at 20, you're like, oh, this is cool as hell.
It was cool.
Because
especially because he's a hero,
My inspo was
inspo. That's short for inspiration.
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen. For people who aren't keeping up, just want to make sure we're.
That's not that bad. Yeah. I didn't give you no acronyms.
Okay.
So my inspo was Rue Jude.
Right, we were talking about this.
Yeah, so that's why I felt like he was
45.
the new kind of Howard Stern.
Right.
It kind of compared. So
yeah.
I feel like that was probably interesting working. Is there a crazy story you remember working for him?
There was tons of crazy stories. Ridiculous.
What jumps out?
The time I had to go try to find grapefruit juice for Pharrell Williams at 4:45 in the morning, and I'm running around Midtown, New York, trying to find grapefruit juice. He didn't want orange juice. He didn't want cranberry juice. He didn't want apple juice. He wanted grapefruit juice. And it's not 11 a.m. This is 4:45 in the morning. And it's at the height of his career after Happy and Get Lucky and all that stuff. So I'm running around town trying to find grapefruit juice, and I couldn't find it. So I just came back. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. All I can find is orange cranberry juice, or I forget what I gave him. Yeah.
Damn. What do you say?
He was very chill about it. He didn't even open. I don't think he even opened it, to be honest. I don't think he even
was
touched
I'm not touching this, but thank you.
He thought the intern can just go into the refrigerator and find, because you prepare stuff for guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that you've prepared, So I think he just probably assumed, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he was like, oh, can you get me grapefruit juice if we have optionality here? So I kind of, it was one of those things where oh yeah, definitely. And oh, we don't have grapefruit juice, but I'm not going to just tell you that.
Right.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I can definitely do that. So I go to the refrigerator and I'm oh my God. So I start looking on my phone, what's open, where can I go? So you start going to these bodegas, you're scouring for, grapefruit juice. It's not like LA where it's health conscious. So there's tons of juices. It's cranberry juice, grapefruit juice, you're not finding that. It's just apple juice, orange juice.
I was just talking about Pharrell today, actually. That's
really?
Funny. I was like, where did he go? Where's Pharrell been, And then someone's like, he definitely don't age.
He's big in fashion now, yeah.
I'm like, he definitely don't age.
I love him. I love all his music production. So I met a lot of people like that. But that was just a weird story that stood out. But it was a great experience.
I was waiting for some weird sex story, but that was good. No? Nothing crazy?
No, it kind of was a different version of Howard by the time I got there. It wasn't the Howard E-television and all that stuff. He kind of evolved.
This was after. Yeah. Okay.
So it was kind of a different circumstance. But yeah, so anyway.
So
that's
when you're at University of Miami, what is magna cum laude? what is that?
It just means I had good grades. I wasn't the best of the best, but I was pretty good.
Okay.
I wasn't a good test taker, but I tried really hard. In high school was very tough for me because I wasn't a good test taker. I was always bad at math. I was good at English and all that kind of stuff, but when I really was into something and I was passionate about it, I was so good at it. So when I went to college, I really wanted to I didn't party at all. Really, I was really strict about school. Like it was the most I've ever been focused in my life.
Wow, good for you. I had to drop out of college when my dad
Really?
went to prison. Yeah.
So that's hard, yeah.
Yeah, I went for marine biology.
Wow.
I wanted to be like a fucking animal researcher. I wanted to do zoology at University of Florida in Gainesville.
Wow. Yeah.
And I dropped out. I was like a year and a half in. I had to drop out to take care of myself.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but shout out to my nephew because he just got accepted to college. He's going to be the first one to go and graduate. I know he is.
There you go. The older I get, the more I realize, like, all of where I'm at today, I don't even want to say success. I just want to say where I'm at because I still have a lot of things I want to accomplish, but it doesn't happen alone. You know, success is not something that happens on your own. It's completely like a joint thing. It's like I wouldn't be where I'm at without my parents. I wouldn't be without my brother, without friends. Like having a support system and people who are helping you get to a place is major. Like I wouldn't have, there's no chance I'd be anywhere close to where I'm at without them.
Good. That's good. And I looked at your reel.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
I looked at all of them, but I just want to point out some of the things that you're doing because you got a lot going on. I feel like you're me in a man's body.
Really?
But I haven't hit your success yet of like Shaq tickling you and
so wait. You are me in a woman's body, or I'm you in a woman. I'm you in your body without Muay Thai.
You're me in a man's body.
Minus the pole dancing and the Muay Thai, and an occasional jog outside.
You might get him in a Muay Thai class. I could see you doing it. So
why do you think we're so similar? I'm curious.
Because you like having fun. Like when I saw all your reels, I'm like, oh, he's a clown. Like he's a straight clown. Because you were doing a lot. You were dancing with Elvis. You were skateboarding. You were running around like Mario. You're wine stomping like fucking Lucy. Like you're doing a lot.
Really did watch.
Yeah, you're doing a lot. You know.
You did your research.
I'm glad that you're like enjoying like your craft and your career because it's like rare to see. I feel like most people I don't watch the news. Gonna be honest.
Right.
Don't watch media at all. Really.
Yeah.
Don't even fucking listen to podcasts. I know that's not good, but like I just was never really into it, you know? So to see somebody that's like engaged, actually having fun with the guests and like doesn't give a fuck, like Blue Man Group's just like all over you, put paint. I'm like, oh, this guy's great. I'm excited.
I thank you. I appreciate that you took here's my whole thing. I think a lot of people, once again, boxes and people assuming, oh, you're having a guest from Fox 5 News on, you're having a broadcast journalist, this guy's going to be like buttoned up, like just, you know, traditional, how we picture in our conditioning how this guy is going to be as a personality. And I made a very active choice when I was younger that I wanted to be fun. Like, you know, it's interesting we're here at Gambit because big jazz place, and I love jazz. And it's not just because the music speaks to me. Like, I think jazz done, it's almost like, I don't know. To me, jazz done right, and when it hits the spot perfectly, it's better than any music genre out there. You know, the perfect song in jazz is so much better than the perfect song in pop or the perfect song in R&B. And I think it's because of the complexity and because of the ability to freeball. So it's kind of like, and that's what I love. So it's kind of like, in order to be a major player in jazz, you have to be classically trained. You have to have had that experience where you know how to play classical music, but then you learn to break the rules after you get really good. And that's what I love about jazz, because you can't just like show up and decide, oh, I'm going to break the rules day one. No, you got to learn the rules before you can break them. And that's what jazz is all about. So for me, I kind of view journalism in the same way as jazz. I was like, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to the University of Miami, I'm going to learn the technical qualities, the fundamentals, and then hopefully I can become good enough and take enough chances and be a risk taker where I can start peeling away from the fundamentals and become more jazz and just free ball, you know. And that's kind of, and that was a very active choice. And it wasn't until I really got to Northwestern for my master's in Chicago where I really became a technician and really learned journalism hardcore, because it's like the greatest school in the world for journalism. Wow. So when I was there, most of the people thought I was a joke. You know, I mean, people were like really smart, like people, the smartest people. And when I got there, I think a lot of people were like, oh, this guy's wacky. Like, most people there are not getting the Blue Man Group to cover their face blue. They're covering like, protests, murders, fire, like they're traditional journalists.
Right.
And so I was really interested in sports, but then while I was there, I had so many amazing professors that really saw something in me, and they saw like, oh, while other people were pitching stories to do a protest, I was like, yo, it's National Cinnabon Day. Can we go like make Cinnabons? Yes. And like I'm eating the Cinnabons and the cream's all over my face. Like, so that was my sensibility, and I was just being true to myself. But I think the toughest thing to do for people is to be themselves. Especially when a camera's on, especially when you're being recorded, like to be authentic to who you are, you need to go through a lot of things. And like you're somebody who's always going to be authentic now because you've gone through so much stuff.
Yeah.
And I think being from Jersey, being from the East Coast, you're already kind of starting off authentic, but you've been through so much in your life that you have an inner confidence to be who you are, right?
That's why I named it Faded Truth. Because people were like, where'd you get the name? And I'm like, well, I was always faded on something, right? And I always liked weed.
Right.
And now I can use it as like, conscious cannabis consumption and learn how really the properties of it. But also, like, I've always told the truth, no matter what.
See, that's
even
good.
when I was 10 years ago, I would have told you even more truth, But now I'm just more observant and whatever. But I've always been honest and open. So that's why I was like, we're going to talk about shit that no one talks about. You're going to hear things that no one ever really says.
Yeah.
And, that's what I want it to be.
And I think that's the most attractive quality in somebody. And I have always tried to use authenticity as my inner compass. Like, I have always had a good kind of sensibility to look within. Like, I'm not the smartest dude in the world, definitely not. I'm not the most talented. I'm not a lot of things. But the one thing I do think I'm pretty good at is looking within and being able to have a good barometer on where my authenticity lies. So a lot of my difficulties were just about doubling down and being confident enough to execute those feelings. And thankfully I had great parents, I had a great support system, I went to great schools and stuff, and as I matured through the industry, I was able to take more chances. So that's why Fox 5 has been my favorite job of all time, because when you look at those reels, you're like, oh, this guy's like being him. Like, there's no way you could look at that and be like, oh, this guy's not being who he truly is genuinely.
And they let you do, and they allow you to
and
do
they
that
allow
way.
me to do that. I had long hair for a while.
I saw that. I was going to say, like, you had the skateboard hair.
There's not a lot of, like, news people that have that hair.
I saw you eat shit on the skateboard.
Yeah, that was with Leticia Buffoni, who's, like, an amazing skateboarder. She was an Olympian. And,
No, I saw it all. I loved it.
I just hit the concrete
I busted ass on a skateboard, too.
But
I tried to longboard. Yeah, so you definitely are living life. When you actually interviewed Shaq, like, was there a favorite part of the interview that you liked? Like, so I know he's always a clown, like he's always like talking behind and like always like messing with people,
I'm obsessed.
But now I know he's a DJ now. Like, he's doing a lot.
He does a lot of stuff. He's a great human being. He gives back so much to the community. Like, he's no joke. This guy is like an amazing human. And for me, being a huge basketball fan, it's Shaq. Like, how many people in our world have one name and you like know who it is?
Right.
Like Pharrell, Madonna, Shaq, there's only a few people like that in our universe, right? So Seal, like random people, So, it's Shaq, so the first time I interviewed him, I really, he took to me and he really said the most. It's an amazing story. After the interview, he pulled me aside for a quick moment and said to me, "You're really good." Like, and he didn't have to do that. Like, after the interview, and I have it on camera. So I was like a little, and this was like only 3 years ago. I was like a little kid. I literally ran out of the interview, called my mom and dad like immediately in New Jersey, and was like a little kid, like shrieking, like, and it meant so much to me.
Yes,
and then
the
second time I interviewed him, we already had an amazing rapport, so that's why he was like screwing with me and like flicking my earlobe during our interview.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite person I interviewed ever.
I think that we're similar in the way that we make people feel comfortable
Yeah.
when we interview them. And it's not just like, you know, like, you know, it's like, that's why I like how when it's faded truth. So like, we're going to drink, we're going to smoke, we're going to do something, but you're going to be comfortable while you're talking to me because I want to see the genuine, authentic, I want it to come out, you know?
Yeah.
And I've even had people that I had to re-record.
Oh, really?
Because they're like, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that on camera. And I'm like, well, there was 3 cameras. I don't know where you were confused.
Right. But you've got
but
their
you know,
guards
people
down.
are just, people are just like ready to relax. So that's a really good compliment. Someone actually gave that to me when they were talking about the Red Man thing, and like people have been hitting me up like, hey, I like how I like your interview style, you know, cool. I want to collab or whatever the fuck, but it never goes unnoticed, even as much as you might think it. But 100%. When you get that physical like affirmation from that person, like, hey, you're doing a good job. I saw that guy on one of your reels too. He was like, who was
Chico
it?
Bean.
Chico Bean. He was like, look, I know this industry.
From
He's
Wild
like,
and
you
Out.
are good. Yeah.
See, you watch. Yeah, it means a lot. I put the biggest thing I learned from Howard Stern, and like that's why it really means, like, you're ingratiating yourself to your interviewee, you know, when you put in the work beforehand. Like the way that you're recalling stuff from my reel, how can I not like you? Like you put in the time, you know what I'm saying though? Like you put in the time to learn about me. So that's the same thing that I do when I interview people. It's not like...
Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
A lot of people don't.
And I've been on interviews and people are like, wow, you're like ready. And I'm like, or they're like, how'd you find that? I'm like, it's on your highlight.
Most people don't do that. Most people think like surface level stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
this is if it's your passion, right? Then you want to.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing, right?
You know, but
why the fuck would I just be out here like, let me just talk to somebody? It's like.
But you would be surprised because the barrier to entry in our industry now. Like, listen, years ago when we were growing up, you couldn't just have a podcast. Like that was not a realistic thing in the universe. Like you would have to go get a job, work at a radio station, get on the airwaves. Like there was no social media. There's no you can't just like be in your grandma's basement recording a podcast for YouTube. Like that was not a thing. So to have the barrier to entry was so high. You couldn't get yourself in the door without really working hard. Now the barrier to entry is nothing. You could just start
you could just literally
in your
put
car.
your iPhone up if you want and just start recording.
So there's a lot of people, because of that low barrier to entry, that have just made the game weaker.
I agree, because when, you know, in my mind, when I started, I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then like sometimes you talk to people and they're like, yeah, podcast, whatever. And I'm like, no, like check out my website, see what the fuck I'm doing. You know, like it's not just...
It's true, and that's why I'm even at fault with that, because I get asked to go on a lot of podcasts, and I won't go on them because I don't think they're up to par. You know, like I did, and it's not because I'm like, oh, I'm too good for this. No, it's just because like it's going to be an uncomfortable experience, and at this point in my life, like I don't want.
Right, there's no reason to put
like,
yourself
why am
in
I
going to
do it? You know, like I mean.
Thank you. I appreciate you for coming.
No,
I feel blessed and honored.
But you know how that is, right?
100%.
So I just think, and so these questions, right? Does that mean, is it better or is it worse? I don't know, but it's just the circumstance that we're living in. So that means that there's going to be a lot of podcasts, a lot of people who consider themselves a talk show host, and to me, it's like, okay, like prove it. You know, let's see if you can actually do this thing. And it's not like you have to have the credentials. Like, I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, because you didn't go to journalism school, you can't have a podcast. No, that's totally not true. And there's a lot of people who don't go to journalism school and they have great podcasts. So I don't feel that way at all, and I don't want to make it seem like that's how I feel. But
no, I think you just need to have
but you have to have
personality.
A passion. You have to be good.
And again, that's what comes from the East Coast. We have a big personality, right?
Right.
And it makes it easier to talk to people.
But I just want it to be like sports. Like, to me, as much as I want to play in the NBA, I can't. Like, I just can't.
Well, at least you interview the people.
But yes, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, I just want podcasting to be like playing in the NBA. Like, that's all I want. I just want somebody to, like, in order to play in the NBA, you have to be good. Like, if you're just playing at Lifetime, a pickup game, you're dropping 50 easy because you're that good. I just don't think podcasting should be that easy where it's like, oh, I can just start
Right.
for the Knicks because like I just decided I put on basketball shorts. You know, like that's
it's definitely a saturated industry, I have to say, but my confidence is like unmatched when it comes to certain things. So I'm like, I know that there's nobody, especially a female, by herself doing all of these things, covering all of these categories, getting all of these different types of celebrities, getting all these people to say things they would never say on camera, you know? So I've been grinding, and I think that it came from like when I was little, like you said, you knew in 4th grade, I didn't realize my talent. I looked back on like old camcorder videos of me with like this fucking mic.
Oh, that's
right?
great.
And I'm like 5, and I'm like taking my dad around the house, and I'm like, so here we have,
oh, that's
you know?
nice.
And then now, like, the videos are gone, right? Because they got fucking taken.
Oh, it's a shame.
And I just thought about it, and I'm like, wow, isn't it crazy how your life comes back full circle?
Were you always very gregarious and like you could talk to a stranger easily? You could talk to...
well, before I started like really healing and like not wanting to be an angry bitch to everybody, I would be like that with my friends maybe, but I always really had this big wall up with people. And even now, people that meet me, they're like, you got really big walls. I'm like, you should have seen me fucking 10 years ago, you know? But I feel like now it's like, I bartended for 15 years. I was in the fucking industry.
Helps. That's a good...
I could talk to a wall. I've done sales my whole life.
Yeah.
So getting into podcasting and like journalism, which I never looked at it as journalism until I started writing these blogs, and everyone's like, no, you're a journalist. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know I could use that title and really feed off of it, you know? So I just enjoy talking to people, hearing their stories. It makes me feel better too sometimes. Like it's been the whole hearing people and things they go through and how they get there. It's like, it's just cool, you know, because you don't really have those conversations with people. Most conversations are very, like you said, surface level. It's like, you know, no one really wants to hear what you're talking about. It's just like, let's ask and then not listen. And this way, I like, you know, I can kind of dig deep, learn, and then I really kind of usually continue the connections with people after the show.
That's great.
And we, you know, we link up or we're friends or whatever.
Because you're genuine, you're authentic. You want to be here. It's not like you're doing this for nefarious reasons. You're doing this for...
I am not evil.
A couple questions since you said you're a bartender for 15 years.
Yes.
So, okay, a couple things. One, when you're at a bar and you're trying to get the bartender's attention...
Oh, here we go.
What is like the best way to be like not... You don't want to be that guy, right? You don't want to be that guy who's like... So let's just say you're on a date with a girl, you're at like a club or it's like a hot spot, the bartender's got a lot of stuff going on, but you don't want to be like with your date and that guy who can't make stuff happen, right? Like, because that's a bad... You don't want to, you know... I need all the help I can get. So I don't want to be waiting there for 45 minutes.
We need to get your confidence up.
So like, so what's the best thing you can do in that situation to just make the bartender kind of gravitate to you to be like, I want to help him?
The fact that you're asking this question means that you've had bad service in Vegas, correct? It's hard for...
I've had, actually... I'm
saying when it comes to clubs...
I think Vegas actually has the best
places,
service I've ever had in my entire life. Because people are professionals.
Better than Atlantic City?
Yes. Yes.
Because I was like...
By far.
I'm definitely a top bartender, 100%.
I think Vegas is the best service I've ever had. But I'm just curious, it still happens occasionally, so
well, because like I had the issues when I moved here, right? I was trying to get service, I'm at the clubs and whatever, and I had literally one male bartender come up and he was like, hey, these girls aren't going to come up to you. They don't serve pretty women. I'm going to take your tab.
Wait,
I'm
what?
Like, yeah.
Wait, I'm confused.
I was confused too.
Wait, explain it. No, I have no clue what you're saying.
I was at the nightclub bar trying to get a drink.
As a girl frequenting the bar, not working there, just as a customer.
I was a customer. No one will come up to me, right? I'm trying to get everyone's attention. Hey, what's up?
And you're trying to get guys and girls' attention, or just girl bartenders?
There was only one guy bartender. He finally came over because all the girls were in the section I was in, and he was like, hey, I'll take your tab. They're probably not going to serve you. And I'm like, why? And he's like, oh, you're a hot girl. It's just how it is. And I'm
so wait, what are you saying? Hot girls don't want to serve other hot girls?
Yes. It's weird. Like in Jersey, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're making me money. And I'm not like one of those people anyway. I love fucking women. Like, hey, let's, whatever the fuck.
So you're saying there's a...
It's just weird here. So with the service
girls
level...
don't want to serve, okay.
So
maybe
weird.
I'm experiencing hot guys don't want to serve another hot guy.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But also,
I had to put that out there.
He says it's good customer service here. I'm going to call bullshit. I think that everyone here, it's a transient city. If you're on the strip, half the time you're getting half-ass service because they know you're probably either one, not going to be back, or 2, not give a fuck because it's the strip, right? So they're turning and burning. When you're a high volume, right, and you're trying to get the bartender's attention, if she's a good bartender, she's going to look at you and she's going to say, I'll be right with you. She's going to put a napkin down. She's going to approach you in some way.
It's like, let me get you settled. I'll be right back.
Hey, how about I acknowledge that you're there instead of staring at my fucking screen and acting like you're invisible and taking 10 minutes to get to one person and taking one drink order for every 100 people. Like, you're supposed to take 10 drink orders at a time and just bang that shit out.
Okay.
And that's what you're supposed to be doing. So I would suggest putting out a 20 at least. Just putting out a 20. Hey,
what do you mean? You just sat down, you show them a 20?
You're at the bar. You're at the bar. You have a 20. Hey, I need some drinks.
Wow.
Because that's the only way they're going to get to you is if they feel like you're going to tip them more than the bullshit they're going to get from everyone else, and they know they're going to make $500 to $700 anyway. It doesn't matter if they serve you fast or not. They're still making $700.
This is good to know.
Right?
All right. Next question. And I'm going to say you're welcome to all the men at home right now. Just
throw some money out, maybe. That's all I can say. If it was me, I would address you.
I'm just saying you're welcome in advance to this question I'm about to ask, because everybody at home is going to be so thrilled about this. You're a guy. You're going to a bar. You see an attractive bartender. Okay? You're there alone. You're there with your friends. Whatever the circumstances, but there's a bartender that you're into.
Okay.
How do we ask out that bartender?
Are you a local or are you visiting?
Let's start with local.
Okay.
Let's be selfish for my situation.
Yeah, I feel like it's easier for locals because, like, as bartenders, sometimes we would just want to, like, fuck the customers because they're out there from England for a day or, like, whatever, and it's like, I'm never going to see this person again.
Let's make pretend we don't have an English accent. we don't really have any of that sophistication. We're just like a dude in Henderson who goes to a bar and he thinks the bartender's hot. Let's break this down to, I don't have an Australian accent.
I don't know.
I don't look like Chris Hemsworth. We're just coming in cold.
I think you already have an advantage because you're not like a sloppy person, like drunk sitting at the bar like, hey, like you can actually talk to people. So I feel like
what are we saying? What
are you saying? It's
what
the
are we
same thing
doing?
you would say if you met a girl at Trader Joe's. I don't know. Hi, how
I don't
are
know
you?
what to say to a girl at Trader Joe's.
Hey, how are you? How you doing?
You could say that to a girl at Trader Joe's.
100%.
I don't think you can.
I mean, you got to try.
Have people come up to you at Trader Joe's and say, "Hi, how are you?"
No, a lot of people are scared of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would
respect if someone came up and said, "Hey, how are you?"
Wait, let's play this. Can we actually play this out?
Let's play the role.
Let's role play.
I feel like, can we get a refill first? I know I need one.
You need a refill? Okay. How does this work on Faded Truth? Do you take a pause?
Nothing. We could just pause it and then we come back.
That's how it works?
We just got to go to the bar. She has my tab.
So, okay, this is how I could practice. Is that what you're thinking? No, I'm joking. All right, so we're going to refill. And then, because everybody at home is already like, oh, I love this guy, Mike Davis. Is like, this is
Mike Davis.
This is the stuff we need to know. So you're going to tell us 2 things when we get back. We're actually going to role play like I'm Daniel Day-Lewis, and you can be, whoever.
I'm going to be up here like this.
You'll be Meryl Streep. I'll be Daniel Day-Lewis, and we're going to act out like we're in an aisle at Trader Joe's.
I'm making my Long Island with my 4 bottles this guy.
We got to do bartender, but we also got to do Trader Joe's. We got to do both. I think we'll start with Trader Joe's.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Hello. Okay, we're good. And we're back. We just got more drinks. Shout out to my Negroni. Have you ever had a Negroni?
Yes.
Do you like them?
They're okay. Cheers.
I'm on like a gin kick.
It's a very Italian
I did vodka
drink.
like my whole life, then tequila. Can't do whiskey.
Isn't Negroni like an after dinner drink? Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
Well, it's actually a aperitif, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a before dinner drink.
Oh,
no,
is it?
So after dinner is the digestive.
Gotcha.
Like limoncello, which I do love.
Oh, okay.
All right, so what was our scenario that we're acting?
All right, so we're starting in Trader Joe's. Because you're like making pretend like you would be like comfortable.
If a guy I thought was cute
comes up to you at Trader Joe's
and says, "Hey, how are you?" I'm gonna be like, "Hi, how are you?"
That's all you're saying. You don't have to say like, "Oh, that trail mix that you're looking at, that's the good one."
No, why can't he just come up and start a conversation with you?
You don't have to say a line. You don't have to make a reference to.
I would really hate it if you came up and said, "You're so beautiful."
That's
like, okay.
Right.
No.
Well, I know that. I'm not an idiot.
Let's come up and be like, "Hey, how are you? What's your name?"
That's the best line.
I feel like that's the best thing. Like genuine. Like, "Hi, how are you? What's your name?" Not like I've been staring at you from frozen aisle. I took all this courage to walk up. Like,
Right. No,
you can't be nervous. You gotta come
No,
up.
you just got to do it.
With some purpose.
It's got to be like a reflex.
I mean, honestly, I've never had anyone do it at Trader Joe's because it's fucking Trader Joe's. But like, I feel like.
But you'd be open to that.
Yeah.
Okay. See? There you go, guys.
Just make it easy. Just make it a simple conversation.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? My name is Angela.
That's...
Okay.
Right.
You know.
Wow. That's what you do?
Yeah. And just then, whatever it goes from there.
And it's the same, does the same practice apply to the bartender? Like, if I'm at a bar and I see a bartender, can I do the same thing? Hey, how are you? What's your name?
100%.
That's what you do.
But I'll be honest, as a bartender's point of view, we don't look at anyone very seriously across the bar.
Because
maybe if we meet you outside of the bar, right? But as a customer
because
to
you have
worker,
to look, you have to.
It's not about that. It's just the perception of you probably are in the club all the time. I work in the club every night. It's like a turnaround of people. So how genuine are you that you really want to talk to me? You probably just talked to the 17 bartenders you met in Vegas, and this is your 5th night here, and you're just trying to fucking do something. You know, that's how it really seems. Unless you're in like a gaming bar and you're like, hey, I'm a local, like the bartender, then you can establish a connection. You can really have a conversation because, like, you know, it's slower at like those kind of bars. You really build rapport with people rather than a nightclub where you're like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, you know. So that's why I was different, because I always built rapport with my customers, and they'd always come back to the clubs. They would always tip me really good and bring their friends and whatever, because it's like, you're not just a number. Like, I'm trying to make money off you, and I want you to come back. Why wouldn't I?
That makes sense. And for people at home, if you hear something in the background right now, that is not like somebody trapped behind the walls. It's a vocalist, a jazz singer who is doing warm-up exercises just over there.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm excited because we're going to get some jazz in. We're going to see some jazz later. I'm gonna get a front row seat.
No sunshine when she's gone. Woo. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always going to know anytime she goes away. Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's going to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. I play it like she left home.
So good. So good. I feel like I'm trying to, like, this information, this expertise this lesson that you've just given the audience and myself, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you drop some knowledge, but is it like, it's not like as...
You wanted more?
Yeah, I mean,
you want like a deeper...
It was just like, I just thought there would be more to it, you know?
But there's not. It's not. I mean, me personally, I'm like, people might think I'm bougie or I'm extra, but like, I'm a simple person. Like, if I can start a conversation with you, or you can start, even if you could start one with me, it's even better, right? Because I can start a conversation with a wall, like I said. So it's like, I can talk to anybody. And sometimes people take that as, oh, she's flirting with me, or like, oh, dude, you know, and I'm like, I'm just like talking, because I can talk to anybody. But if you can start a conversation with me and me not be like, yeah, whatever, that's a good thing.
It's really interesting. Like, me personally, I'm very aloof with, like, stuff like that. So most of my situations are, like, people hitting on me.
Okay.
You know? And it's like, so I don't really take a lot of chances in doing that. I have in the past, but I don't do it.
You belong on Bumble.
The
girl has to reach out.
But I'm a control freak, and I like if I am feeling it that much, I will. But I just don't do it frequently, you know? And I guess my everyday, it's more so somebody doing that to me.
Right.
But,
so how does a girl approach you, typically?
How do they know? I guess a lot of it is people, I guess, through work or somebody I know through a situation, and maybe I just meet them for the first time, but we're establishing a basis from something, you know, whether it's formulating from an interview or from work, or it's formulating from, you know, being out and about. But I don't know. I don't think I've never had somebody come up to me at Trader Joe's.
I'm just saying it because I've been off dating apps now for years, right?
You're not on them.
I've been off of them for years, and I just feel like they did get you nowhere except toxicity and people that are really not serious about anything.
Right.
Personally, I don't personally want like a full-blown relationship anyway. So like, that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm really not looking for shit. I'm at that point in my life where I'm like,
you're happy.
I just might be one of those people that's like,
really?
Hey, I might just fuck people around the world when I travel and like be okay with it and not commit to anything.
Gotcha,
because I just don't care. Like before, I had a very different mindset. Right?
What was that mindset? You were like, you wanted like the love of your life.
No, never love. I just wanted dick.
Well, that's the quote of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's it right there.
Like, you know, I was always just a man eater or a heartbreaker,
So
and I just never wanted to commit or
you
have
never wanted
anything.
love ever.
No, I never saw it. Never knew how to like. Never wanted it. Never wanted marriage. Never wanted kids. Still don't. And some people are like, well, aren't you lonely? I'm like, not really. Like, I had 2 dogs, love them. When they die, maybe I'll get a boyfriend. I don't know. But, like, I work so much. I have so much going on in my life. Like, I wear so many hats that unless you're going to literally contribute to, like, my mental state, help me grow, and also maybe get me off here and there, like, okay, great. But, like, you know, other than that, like, I don't need to use you for dick no more. That's not where my mind state is. Like,
see, it's interesting. I think, listen, my whole thing is people should be able to pursue the things they want to do. I don't think it's a good thing for people to just be conditioned in society to think that they need to have children, they need to be in marriages. Like, people should be able to do what they want to do and pursue the types of relationships or non-relationships that they want to. So I'm a big proponent for that. I think it's interesting. I do think that I am very intrigued personally with myself on what I relationship-wise want, because it's very hard for me to figure those things out, because I think I'm so, like, I know 100% what I want from my professional life and my personal life. It's the questions are like, how would a relationship enter the mix with that? And I'm very in,
like, where would you fit it, kind of?
I don't know. Yeah, and I don't have the answer.
I actually think about that sometimes, because people are like, well, how do you do 10 things and still relax, right? And I think it's just priorities and what you want to make your time for. Like, yeah, you might be interviewing Shaq today, but then you might also want to go home and lay with your girlfriend on the couch and eat popcorn or something, you know? Like, you make time for what you want to make time for. So I think if you found the person that you really connected with, you would be able to like integrate it better. You know what I mean?
I think for me, it's like I need somebody who stimulates me to the level that I'm stimulated myself.
Oh, that's hard.
And that's the hard thing. And and I'm okay if I don't find that person, then I don't want to fake
31.
it. Right. But I'm very real
and
about that.
You're everything works for a long time. You know, like, we have, like, timelines and shit on babies and eggs and freezing shit.
Oh, you're saying men versus women.
Yeah, like, you guys can really you can be, like, a stag until 60 and still pop out a kid if you want, you know? Right. So it's like, you really don't have a timeline. You're 30, you're living your dream. Have you ever interviewed anybody that you're like, I like Fevin. Is that her name?
Oh, Faven.
Faven.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah, she's a great person. She's a good friend of mine. Have I ever interviewed what?
Somebody that you were like interested in? Mm-hmm.
I guess yes is the short answer, but I do think professionally I do try, like you were saying, from the bartender perspective, like there is a barrier, like, because I think in order to really be professional and good, and listen, like especially in media in this industry, like you don't want to be the guy or like the guy or girl, like I think it's gross to be trying to do that in your work. I don't love that.
You can't mix business with pleasure.
Yeah,
You
so
don't shit where you eat, guys. That's never ends up good.
And I'm not saying like it's not a blanket thing. I think people can. I choose kind of not to. That's kind of my thing.
It's a good boundary.
I think it's a good boundary. I do think though that there is like just a weird thing, whereas like me, when I'm at work, like I'm just not thinking that way. When I'm at Trader Joe's, I'm thinking that way. But when I'm at work, I'm not thinking that way.
I'm telling you, one day at Sprouts or Trader Joe's, you're going to meet her. It's easier to meet women.
But I think, so thankfully, like I'm kind of just on a different plane or track of mind when I'm working compared to other stuff,
But do you like want to get married and have kids? Is that something
I think
that
so,
you want?
yeah. But I do think I'm not of the camp of people who are like, 100%. Like to me, that stimulation, that connection is going to be the key factor. If I meet somebody who makes me want those things, then I'm going to be all about it.
What if they have kids already?
What if they have kids?
Yeah.
I've dated people who already had kids.
Okay.
Like when I first moved here, I was dating somebody, or was it right when it was like about a year, I would say, into my time here. So I've dated all types of people,
Yeah, I feel like I would rather date someone that already had kids. They got it out the way. And as long as they're not like 2 and we gotta like fucking raise them together and you're still fucking the baby mom and shit, like I don't want to deal with any of that. But if they're like, you got kids, I'm like, all right, cool, you got it out the way.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to birth anything, just to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, so what do you think's like the hardest or craziest question that you've asked somebody that kind of like shocked them?
I'm trying to think. I think the first thing that comes to mind, I love David Blaine. I think that was the best show I've seen in Las Vegas that was non-musical related. When I interviewed him, I did ask him, because he does so much incredible stuff. I did ask him, like, have you ever felt you were close to like killing yourself from trying something? So I think
that's what made me write the question down.
Oh, really?
When you said that, and I was I got to see what the word.
I think it was very New Jersey, because I think, like, to me that's the epitome. Because like I think a lot of people are thinking that, but they don't ask it.
Right.
So I think when I asked it, like that was the first thing that hit my mind. But I don't know. I ask people.
Has anyone ever, after the fact, other than telling you that you're a good interviewer, have they ever been like, "Damn, I didn't think you were going to ask that question"?
Yeah, people say that. I think it's about engagement. Like that's the big thing that is so lost, and that's why I'm enjoying this a lot, is because you're engaged. Like there's a lot of podcasts or people who are they're just doing it. It's like it's just going through the motions. Mm-hmm. Like there's people that go through the motions at work. You could go through the motions at Trader Joe's, or you could be present at Trader Joe's. I've been both. Like I've been in there with my AirPods. I'm just trying to grab something incognito. I'm not, there could be Jennifer Aniston in there and I'm not even noticing her, right? But sometimes you're just super present and connected to your experience, and you're like, I don't need to listen to the Faded Truth podcast while I'm also shopping for my trail mix.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes you do.
I met a cool guy at Trader Joe's, and actually he's friends with...
Now you're saying this?
No, not like that kind of guy. I met one of the workers there.
Oh, they're friendly to everybody. That's part of what makes the experience so great.
Right, that's what I'm saying. When I went there, I'm like, y'all are all fucking happy on crack.
They're great.
This is crazy.
Yeah, they're great.
So I met the guy, and his friend has a podcast, and she's been renting out the Bellagio podcast room.
Oh.
And been doing stuff there and bringing it there. But he was like, yeah, maybe we can connect. And I'm like, you never know when you talk to people, right?
I mean, he may have come up to you and been like, oh,
well, it's
hi,
the second time I
What's your
met him.
name?
First time he helped me. Last time I was there, he helped me find a good bottle of wine.
Ooh.
Then when I saw him again, I was like, all right, I'm going to give him my card.
That might be a move. That might be a move. When you're helping somebody find a good bottle of wine, I think that's a move.
They always tell me, they're like, you need to air this one out,
Say, that's a move.
But I love them because I'm like, oh, this is great.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I love our interview styles. I think we're very similar in that. I'm glad you kind of opened up with me, because when I first called you, I felt like you thought maybe I was like crazy, or like, why does this bitch want to talk to me? Yeah.
Oh.
I just saw you observing me, and I was like, he's like has no idea what he's about to get into.
Well, I was also like interested why you wanted to have me on, you know?
Well, shout out to Mike, because he connected. He connected us. He was like, hey, this guy would be really great. And in my mind, right, like you said, Fox 5, I'm like, all right, let's check it out and see like what he's doing. And then when I saw that you were fucking didn't give a fuck, I'm like, oh, this is great. We'll be perfect.
Oh, okay. Good.
And I'm like, I really don't know as far as media. Like, I think like having my own network would be cool, but I also just see myself like, you know, covering things and like.
Yeah, what are your hopes and dreams for this? Like, what would be?
So ideally, I would like a network on some type of television platform, as far as like my own show.
Like, what does that mean? Like, you want like how Oprah has her own network, like her own channel?
Yes, or just having my own show on a network, whether that's MTV, BET, whatever. Okay. Now lately, I've been getting into streaming services, because obviously they have the ad revenue to push out your content, right? So, honestly, I had no specific goal when I started the show. Had no idea what I was doing, and even 3 years later, people are like, "So, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, I'm just happy I'm still doing that. I'm happy I'm still believing in myself and making it, because being a by yourself content creator with not as much support as you would think. People love me, but at the end of the day, I'm still Jersey. So there's only so many people that can really get in my bubble, right? And I'm 3,000 miles away from those people that are close to me, right?
Meaning you're saying
I'm in Vegas.
You think your support, the people who are your followers, the people who are really interacting with your stuff, you still think they're more Jersey-based?
No, I'm saying personally, my personal life, the support that gets you through to keep going
is back home.
Is all the way 3,000 miles away. Yeah. It's not in Vegas, right? In Vegas, I'm very closed off.
But you're doing
I don't talk to a lot of people.
See, I feel like you're doing very well here, though.
I am, but that's why I keep staying, because I know there's something here for me. But mentally, it's been a very big struggle since I've even moved here. Before I even started the show, it was a lot. I wanted to move home every couple of weeks and every couple months, you know? And then I was like, what am I moving home to? Right. The winter, hurricanes, a deteriorating economy, like there's really nothing, you know, and then I just kept sticking it out, and I already know my life's going to be amazing. It already is. Like, it already is. Like, it is. I can't ask for anything better. But it's definitely going to grow from here. So I'm just excited to, like, be able to connect with someone who's, like, actually doing what the fuck, like, people think I'm doing. You know, and they're like, you're a journalist, you're the... I'm like, no, not really. I'm just, you know, talking to people and writing some blogs and whatever. But, like, this is what you went to school for. You've been doing it. So I was excited to, like, pick your brain and just kind of see where it brought you. Yeah. And I'm excited that you could do that on live TV, just, like, everything you're doing.
I mean, I'm very impressed with you. I think, you know, to me... Listen, I think, once again, I'm of the camp where I just think there's a lot of things that you can't learn from journalism school, right? There's a lot of things that you just have to have the innate ability, or, you know, it's part of your just nature, you know, of who you are. So, like, I think no matter if you went to all the journalism schools you wanted to in the world and practiced and studied all day long, you can't fake authenticity. You can't fake or learn genuine, you know, genuineness and an excitement to be doing an interview and a real, true, authentic quality to want to connect with another human being. Like that, it doesn't matter. You could be locked in a room studying textbooks all day. You're not going to learn how to do that. That's just something you have to be born with. I don't know if you can teach that, you know? So, I think it's a lot of things in life. It's like marrying, you know, core qualities and things that are true to you with a little bit of practice and a little bit of experience. And when those things come together, I think a lot of good things happen. You know?
That's why you need a team. Yeah. You know, that's why I've been trying to build little by little. So that's why I have Mike, because he's great with all the back end, all the tech shit, all the things that I'm like, I have no idea, you know, what's going on. So I've been learning a lot. And I'm gonna be honest, like my patent in Vegas, it's been good. I can't complain. I'm blessed, and I'm excited for the show and to see where it goes and what connections I make and how the fuck it takes off. You know,
I think you're doing a good job. I mean, it's going a little downhill going from Lamar Odom and Redman to Mike Davis, but beyond that, you're doing great.
Honestly, I have a way better interview with you than Lamar Odom.
Really?
Just saying.
Well, we both dated Kardashians, so.
Did you?
No. See, you almost believed me there for a
I
second.
was like, oh my God, I got to hear this. Because everyone's like, why didn't you ask him about the Kardashians? Why didn't you ask him about
why didn't
Kobe?
you?
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I didn't even know anything about Lamar Odom. I just thought, like, when they asked me to interview him, it was on the fly, same day. I went there to interview Redman, which I was prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought I was until he started telling me things, and I'm like, how did I not know this? And then they're like, hey, you want to interview Lamar Odom? And I'm like Rolodexing everything I've heard about him. I'm like, do I have to? Like, are you sure?
Oh.
And then I realized he's got a cannabis brand. He's actually doing a rehab center. You know, whatever. He took probably 10 dabs before he got to this seat with me because we were in a dab tent.
Explain to me what a dab is. I know I look
dab
cool.
is a
like I know what
concentrate.
Okay,
so it's like it's a concentrate. So you put it in your rig, which looks like a bong.
And what's a rig?
A rig is it looks like a bong. You know what a bong is, right?
Uh-huh.
When you smoke weed out of. So you put it in your rig.
Okay.
It's concentrate. You heat it. It's heated up.
Okay.
Put it in and just turns to vapor, and you just hit it. But it's like 10 times stronger than if you just hit like a blunt. Right? So he's just dabbing over and over and over. So by the time he got to me,
he was faded.
He was like faded, right? So I tried to do the best I could with what I had.
Gotcha. That's an interesting.
But it wasn't as engaging as I would have thought it would be. Right? So for me, after I left this interview, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, this content's horrible. Like, how are we going to fucking make this work?
Right.
You know, I was like all worried and shit. And then I look back at it and I'm like, all right, it wasn't that bad. But people, you know, that see me there, they're like, oh, you did such a great job interviewing. And I'm like, I really wasn't even at my best at that time, you know?
Right.
So I'm like happy that just the authenticity shows because I can't hide anything. I'm a bad faker. That's why I've never been an actor, or like I couldn't really do the things I was trying to do because I'm like, I can't act like I fucking want to talk to you. I don't, you know? So I like how it still shows even when I'm nervous or even when I feel like I'm not doing the best, it still comes out great. So I've been trying to own that more and just come like really into like, okay, like you know this is what the fuck you want to do, or like this is one of your crafts and this is a good thing. It's not the end all be all maybe, but it's going to take me, this brand is going to, I'm just like, you know, doing little things off the brand here and there. Whether that's my weed strain, whether that's whatever, it's going to be connected to the original brand, which is Faded Truth.
Gotcha.
So I'm excited. Do you have businesses outside of?
I thought you were going to ask if I have a strain.
No, I know you don't. No weed for you. I was going to ask you the first time you got faded, though.
Well, first of all, am I the first person on this show to like not be?
Absolutely not.
Oh, really?
Athletes do not smoke usually.
Really? Okay.
Depending on what season they're in.
Yeah, I'm big. Did I tell you I'm big into Muay Thai?
He's trying to. We're not at Trader Joe's.
Okay, I'm super.
You're trying to get the same scars over here.
Oh God, I'm super into Muay Thai. I honestly have tried it once, you know, and I just didn't do anything for me, you know.
The Muay Thai?
No, I was talking in the faded sense.
Oh,
marijuana.
No, I meant like drinking. So faded doesn't have to be weed. It
doesn't?
It could be alcohol too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, we're learning things. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like the first time you got faded, like you got drunk as hell, and when was that? Was it college?
Probably like high school. Probably the senior year of high school. Probably. Okay. I forget. I don't remember. Probably. I would say high school.
Okay. You don't like have a memory of like the first time you got drunk and you were like, oh my God, I'll never drink again.
I mean, I remember the first time I really was college, probably, where I was really like blackout. But it only happened like one time in my life. Yeah.
And then you're like, back to the books.
I mean, yeah. I was actually visiting a friend at a different school. But yeah, I mean, I'm very, like, I enjoy a drink as just like a drink. Like, I'm very, I don't know, I guess I'm a control freak. So I really like to have my facilities. Like, I'm not one of these people who's looking for escape. You know, so like, I don't like roller coasters.
You have to be always, no matter what, you have to be in control kind of thing, right?
That's
how I am, though. That's why I've always liked weed, because I never felt out of control.
Okay. See, like, and I'm not entirely certain, you know, like, it's hard to speak to things about yourself because it's hard to psychoanalyze yourself, although I do that frequently. Mm-hmm. I feel like if I ever did go to a therapist, they would probably, I've never been to therapy, but I'm pretty sure they would say, oh, you're a control freak. I feel like
they would diagnose you like that?
As I'm diagnosing myself, and why I do certain things or don't do certain things, I think that's part of it.
If I can diagnose you
Yeah,
right now,
yeah, let's do
I'm
it.
going to just say that I can give you some brain food.
Give me some brain food.
Mineral, and it'll make you literally like feel great, focused.
Oh,
and,
this
like,
is an actual thing.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna. I thought you were gonna just psychoanalyze me right now.
No, I meant like I'm not going to psychoanalyze you at all. I think you're a great person, but
Okay.
for what you're telling me, I would give you a mineral, which is called brain food, which is going
See, right
to
when
help.
you say mineral, I'm already out. I'm like, a what? A mineral?
Yeah, like not a vitamin, not a pharmaceutical thing that's created in a lab that says it's a male
from the
centrum,
earth.
right? This is plants.
Okay, it's
all
from
the
the
way.
earth. Okay.
Heals your body from within, cleans your blood out. A brain food is going to help with ADHD, people with depression, but people that also have issues focusing. I take it every single day. You can imagine how many things go on in my mind a day. So it's like, it was very hard for me to get it together once I started getting into the media, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm a VP of sales.
Right.
I'm a director. I run an entire office.
Right.
Now I'm also doing a podcast.
Right.
Now I'm also doing a weeds train.
Right.
I'm also doing a drop shipping. I'm doing a lot of things. So for me to focus, that's a really good thing.
Right, and just to be clear, I think I've done a lot of research, watched a lot of documentaries. Like, I know psychedelics, certain plant medicines. Like, it's not that I'm against anything. I'm just saying I haven't chosen to explore it myself. You know?
Will. Yeah, I'll get you on some. You'll love it. You'll feel like Superman. You already carry yourself that you probably don't let anything like get to you. Like, you get the job done.
Yeah.
But to get the job done in a most effective way every day, you might want to wake up at fucking 5 a.m. and fucking be ready to go, get your workout done.
To be honest, I'm just like, the only thing I'm worried about is like, what if I did take something and I'm like Paul McCartney? What if I like could write the greatest song of all? Like, what if I'm just like, that's my access
I'm glad you brought
point.
me there because I saw you singing as well. You sang a lot. Okay, you was singing.
I love music.
You was singing. He's trying to get up there with a jazz dancer. So can you sing something for me?
I can't say. I mean,
can I hear a little something?
I mean, first of all, I sing a lot on TV.
We're on TV.
I just love music. Like, that's a big thing. Like, I think I have the greatest job in the world. Like, this is my dream job. The only other two potential dream jobs would probably be like an NBA player, but even more than that, to be like a musician. Like,
okay.
I would
well, you said you played the sax.
I wasn't good. I just wish I could be like a singer-songwriter. So if like plants could help me access those feelings and be like a little like how some
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna tell you that's gonna let you access everything.
The thing that's really a shame is like we all know the bottom line. The story is I do it and I would still be an awful singer. I'd still be a bad songwriter. Like, it's not going to change anything. We know that. But there's like a 1% chance that I got like an amazing album in me.
Don't question the minerals, all right? Don't question the minerals.
Minerals.
Minerals, not vitamins.
I've never heard people.
I know you haven't.
Like, minerals is like if we're studying geology.
Right,
like the last time I heard minerals was in geology class.
Okay. Do you know who Dr. Sebi was?
No.
Okay, so when you go home, I want you to research him. Sebi.
Sebi.
That's why I'm going to Honduras in 2 days.
To what?
To go to the village.
Where?
In La Ceiba, Honduras.
And what did he do there?
So basically, he healed himself from asthma and diabetes within a month with an alkaline.
Is he dead or?
He's passed away. His family's taken over the business. So I've had his grandson on. I've had consultants on. I've had a bunch of people, and I actually did an episode in Honduras last year when I went for the first retreat because I actually had health problems that I found out about, and I had to make shit happen. So I went down there, went for a week, came back. Fucking blood was 10 times cleaner than it was before.
Really?
Just from a week being there. They give you minerals every day. You drink bitters. They give you an alkaline diet. Alkaline means that you're not putting any acid in your body. Even if you're a vegan, you're eating these things that are putting acid, which is bread, tofu, soy, or whatever. But normal eating that we usually eat, meat, dairy, bread, cheese, it's all putting acid into your bloodstream, right? So when people have diseases, diabetes, cancer, ADHD, emphysema, fucking whatever it is, it's coming because your blood isn't clean. So if you clean your blood and you alkalize it, the disease cannot live in your body. So that's what I preach, right? So I live a plant-based diet. you know, I'm not gonna no longer put anything that I know is gonna put me back. And it was hard.
You're completely plant-based. You don't eat meat.
No.
You don't eat poultry.
No.
You don't eat fish.
No.
You don't eat dairy.
No.
So you're vegan. You're complete vegan. You don't eat eggs.
This is my first time saying I'm vegan on camera.
Are you actually vegan?
Yeah, I actually was plant-based. I've been plant-based for about, working on it for about 2 years now, right? And started when I started taking the minerals. Started taking what they gave me was sea moss and a blood purifier. That was it. I took it for a couple of days. I felt like fucking Superwoman. I was waking up with the sun. I had so much energy. I was like, it was crazy, right? So I'm like really intrigued. So then they tell you that you have to do an alkaline diet in order for it to work better, right? You can't just take these and be clean if you've been putting shit in your body for 30, 40, 50 years, right? Because when people's diseases come up, it's usually 40s, 50s, 60s. I got type 2 diabetes. I got stage 4 cancer. I got emphysema. I got fucking whatever it is, right? My kids, they're fucking ADHD, whatever it is. We're putting all these things in our body that cause it, right? So now I've kind of gotten more into that part of like what I'm consuming, and it's been hard because I'm from Jersey and I'm a foodie. So my bread and cheese always went with a side of bread and cheese. Like that's how we eat, right? And then now I just decided that I just don't want to put anything dead into my body.
So how long have you been doing this?
So plant-based, I've been on and off, on for like 2 years, but I was always like 80%. I would go home, fuck shit up, come back and be good, right?
Yeah.
No problem. Sometimes I would come out here, get my, go to my trattoria, whatever, get my veal parm, get my fucking mushroom risotto.
Yeah.
And now I'm I watched a couple good documentaries.
You don't miss it.
If you guys ever want to get really fucking uncomfortable, watch Dominion on YouTube. A 2-hour documentary about the slaughterhouses and what happens before you get the food to your plate. And after watching that, I've been doing a lot of research, and it's crazy because, like I said, I've been doing a 180. I feel like people can really change, right? Because I would never in my life think I could live off this type of food or diet before. And now my mindset's changed to where I'm like really conscious, and I'm like, okay, do I really want to put this fucking tortured animal into my body, into my bloodstream, after it's been wherever for 6 months? Then I just froze it for 6 months. Now I take it out, I thaw it out, I put it on the plate, and I think it's great because it's a carne asada taco. Like, I'm really like starting to think in a different mindset, right? And a lot of people hate vegans because they're like, oh, you guys are gonna push shit on the world. And it's like, if you really research it, it makes a lot of fucking sense to save the fucking world. But I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, you have to be vegan, da-da-da. It's just, that's my choice personally. If I sit down, I just want to put clean shit in my body, and I want to like continue to do that from now on. That's all I want to do. Everyone else, you have your choice. I don't give a fuck. We're at a steakhouse. I don't give a fuck, right? Me personally, it's just my choice. Unless people try to ask me and debate me, I'm not going to get into it because I already know the whole stigma and the bullshit. And I already know that a lot of people are way overprivileged when they should just be educating people more than getting mad at them for not knowing. Because we're uneducated. That's the problem. Our whole entire government has uneducated us for this entire life. We see commercials of fucking Fruit Loops. We see commercials of chicken nuggets. And we think we're supposed to be feeding our kids this every day. Then our kids grow up and they're like, why does my kid have ADHD? Why does my kid have depression? Why does my kid have anxiety? All these things, right? Because you're feeding their brain and their body sugar and fucking fat and fucking whatever else is in all this bullshit, right? Their entire life. Once you take it out, you'd be surprised how many people heal from their disease. Weeks. I took out dairy. My stomach is fine now. All this shit. So I just been learning it, and I just been trying to implement it into my life.
Fruit Loops are so good. Fruit Loops are amazing.
I'm doing a ring light on the common U.S. foods that broke my heart. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Broke my fucking heart.
So I guess, wow, that's a lot there, and congratulations. And I think, yes, I think we need a lot more people like you. People can do whatever they want. People, I'm not a big person. Like, I don't like when people push things on people, like, do your thing, invest in yourself. I think it's like, to me, the sad thing is like, you just going into that whole soliloquy, it already exhausts me. Because I'm already like exhausted just trying to comprehend the labor and the work it takes to figure those things out about yourself. The problem is educating, right? It takes a lot of time for you to now be at the point in your life where you are educated.
And
right?
I only got there because I started the podcast. and I met the consultant,
But I'm saying
and she was like, take this, right? And then I started interviewing Dr. Savi's grandson,
Right.
and then I went to the village where Lisa Left Eye Lopez stayed. I
Right.
stayed in her hut. She died in Honduras, right? I stayed in her hut, and it's like you're learning all these things, and you're
Right.
like, wow, this makes a lot of sense, right? I have my mom's sick, my dad's sick, everyone in my life around me has had some type of disease.
Right.
And I've healed people. I've literally got their blood work from horrible to fucking amazing with just the minerals, not even changing their diet. Because asking a 60-year-old to change her fucking diet and not make
It's
chicken
tough.
cutlets
Yeah.
is like,
Tough.
it's impossible, right?
Yeah.
So for someone to have the dedication just to even stay for a few months on those
Right.
things and
No,
see a
it's true.
change
Right.
is how I know that I'm like, I found my purpose. My purpose is
Oh,
to
that's
help
great.
people with that mentally and physically, right? Because I've done a lot of mental work. And a lot of people need that, and they don't know like what direction to go because it's taboo. Therapy's
Yeah.
taboo, all these things. But I really like made an impact on people, and that's why I haven't quit, because I'm like,
No, it's nice.
this journey has
Yeah.
taken me
It's tough. I mean,
in a crazy way.
it's tough. There's a lot like me. It's like I'm just thinking through my own stuff. Like even if I started doing the education and you were teaching me and you held my hand and you showed me the way, like I have so many personal attachments.
To what?
Pizza, certain
No.
different things. Like
You
I
wouldn't.
don't.
If I showed you, you wouldn't.
I don't know if I could give
Pizza
it
was
up.
my favorite food. Cheesesteaks,
Right.
favorite fucking food.
I don't think I
agree.
could give it up.
I was you 5 months ago. Literally. It's crazy. And it's just like once you start educating, once you physically see it, you can't unsee it. You cannot unsee what I'm going to show you.
I guess.
And
yeah.
people say, I ask people, hey, you want me to send you something so you can maybe get better with your diet? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see where it comes from.
Right, because
Well,
people want to be oblivious.
Right, because if you see where it comes from and it makes you cry, it makes your stomach hurt, you look away because you don't want to see what's being tortured or whatever the fuck is going on, pumped with hormones, and it's going on your plate, maybe you shouldn't eat it. That's the bottom line, right? If I can't show you where your food comes from and you can't physically watch it without getting sick and upset and mad, then why are you eating it? And that's where it was just like a light for me. And
Yeah.
I was like, how am I going to go to school for marine biology when I was younger? Loved animals my whole life. Worked at shelters. But I'm going to be like, oh, I want to save this dog, but like I'm going to go eat this pig. Like it was just like a switch for me.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, I can still get all the things I need from normal fucking food, like without having to have meat or dairy. You think it sounds hard, but once you kind of like Vegas, it makes it easy for us.
Is this a one size fits all? Like, is everybody this, or don't you think certain people need meat in their diet?
100% no. So plant-based
Yeah.
is for your health, okay? Vegan is for the animals. That's the difference. Plant-based is just for you personally saying, hey, I want to do better. Vegan is like, hey, I want to also help the world, stop the fucking emissions, stop the, I don't want fish to be gone in 2040 because we're fucking taking trillions out the ocean each year, whatever. That's vegan, right? So that's why I never want to like label it. I just feel like I'm just not going to like, I don't want to contribute to the demise of the world that's already happening. And that's why another reason why I'm like, even if I wanted to have kids, I would be like, damn, you got to grow up in fucking 20 years in this world where we have like literally nothing's in the ocean. We're making fake meat in a lab. People are freaking out because they're making meat in a lab. I'm like, you've been eating antibiotic meat for 30 years. You're mad because they're making it in a lab now? Because literally they're making it in a lab because they're like, hey, we're destroying the world because of these things cows were producing and the emissions from their shit. So we have to make it in a lab. That's why they're doing it. They don't give a fuck about torturing animals, but they do give a fuck about the world disintegrating. So that's why now things are coming out, right? So it's like the more information that comes out, the more people are going to be like, all right,
Wow. Look at this education we're getting. I mean, this is
He's seen the 180. You're here for the 180.
Somehow we got from Lamar Odom to plant-based.
Okay, so last question.
Yeah.
What do you think is the hardest part about being in the spotlight?
Being plant-based.
Get the fuck out of here. He's already starting.
The hardest part about being in the spotlight? What do you mean?
You're in the spotlight.
Am I?
You are in the spotlight. You're that person, right? When you get on camera, everyone's watching you. You're in the spotlight, and they're waiting for you. They're waiting for the people to react to you. They're waiting for your questions. Is there ever do you feel like it's just natural, or do you feel like there's any obstacles you faced in the media?
I mean, honestly, I just look within. Like, I think that's my answer for a lot of things. I look within. I try to ask myself and be in touch with who I am and really look within and ask, is this the way the fourth grade Mike would feel? Is this the way, would even at the times I sense myself getting lazy, or the times that I'm taking something for granted, or the times that I feel like those bad feelings could be creeping up on me, I try to remind myself of like my inner child and that feeling that I had at the purest moments of my life, and I try to tap into that so that I don't get overcome with anything jaded or anything that would make me feel differently than that fourth grade version of myself. So it's just an effort to be good every day. You just have to try to tap into that. And I think it stems from the authenticity. So as long as I'm kind of checking in with that version of myself, then I feel like I'm doing okay.
So you're not getting like nervous before interviews?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Yeah, I figured you were a pro.
But I think it's more so the nerves. It's like I think the things that I'm more concerned about and the things that I try to keep up to date with and make sure that I'm not falling behind on or taking things for granted, becoming jaded, becoming comfortable,
complacent.
Like those are the things that. So thankfully, I'm not wired that way. But I think, like anything, it's like everything becomes a job, and that's a good and a bad thing. It's a privilege to have, what I do as a job, and I think when people are like, "Oh, you never work a day in your life if you do it like your passion." Yes, but no. Because part of being a professional and being good at what you do is it being a job.
Right.
So, there's a lot of yes and no in our world and in our existence. And I think you have to, I think as long as you're checking in with yourself and being true to who you are and reminding yourself for the reasons why you're doing these things, you're in a good spot.
Do you have anything that you do like on a daily basis, or any like consistent routine for mental peace when you're not talking to people?
So Muay Thai.
You do not.
Muay Thai.
He's a liar.
Plant-based Muay Thai. A lot of minerals.
I
Just
hate you.
a ton of minerals.
Next, you're going to tell me you go in the salt room every 2 days like me.
I mean, if you open up my refrigerator, it's just mineral upon mineral.
He's just got sea moss and fucking kale in there, I'm sure.
That's it. It's like you open up, it's like, whoa, it's like an ocean. Sea moss is falling out. There's salt, there's minerals, there's alkalines falling from the sky.
Just disease-free everywhere.
Cleanest blood. My blood is so clean. It's like it's like the Clorox
Everyone
guy.
wants to laugh until they need the help.
It's like Mr. Clean was just like in my body. Just.
Well, we know you're not going bald. The haircut tomorrow, what are you getting, a 1?
Oh, see, look at you, look at all the numbers. I don't know. I think I'm going to go probably more like I'm not a 1 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little... Yeah,
too low?
It's a little low. What was the question again? I was just being...
What number were you... Oh, the question was...
Yeah, what was
do you have something you do for your mental peace or your peace every day? Or do you have something you do during the week?
I try, like, runs, walks.
Okay.
I like that kind of stuff.
Do you go to the gym or are you just like...
A little bit. I should be more of like... I should get better with like lifting and that kind of stuff because I do hear it is very good for you. Very rarely. What? Why are you laughing?
Because I don't think you're like a gym rat. I think...
You don't think so?
No, I think you would just
My musculature is not...
No, I'm just saying like I don't see you being a gym rat. I think you would just enjoy like a sport or something.
Yeah, I'm a sports-based guy. I think intellectually it's tough for me. Like I need to be stimulated. Stimulation's big.
What is your secret sauce?
I don't have... Is there a secret sauce?
There is a secret sauce to your... Yes, I changed my life because I did habits that brought me to a new level, right? So my daily habits are gym. Well, they've always been gym, but I learned yoga, meditation, reading my books again. I got time to actually read chapters every day, things like that. So like what are you doing for your mental like stimulation besides like media and stuff? Like when you're home, are you playing video games? Like what are you doing?
Reading was my first love, so
okay.
I try to read like almost every day. Music is my meditation.
Are you gonna sing for me or what?
Can that be part like the second time I come back? Can we do something this next time?
He was like, this JMO Ginger is not happening. Because you were really confident on everything I saw. I'm like, what's wrong with me that I can't hear it?
Am I not being confident here?
Well, why can't you sing for me?
Well, I mean, is this the room to be on a...
It's acoustic. There's nothing in here.
Is it?
They stopped doing their...
Let me just hear that. I don't think the room is the acoustics.
I'm looking at you and I'm like, yo, you need to sing.
I don't know if the acoustics are, you know, usually I'm hearing like there's a buzzing. No, I think everybody has their own thing. Like, I've meditated. I don't meditate every day. I read. I don't read every day.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book?
Top books that you like, that you're like, hey, I want to recommend this to somebody.
The Count of Monte Cristo is probably my favorite book.
Wow.
Fiction-wise. I like fiction a lot, but I also like a lot of, like, I'll read a lot of biographies. Right now I'm reading Phil Knight's biography, the guy who founded...
Shoe Dog.
Shoe Dog, exactly.
Yes, good
Nike.
book.
So I'm reading that. I'm reading something like all the time. I just got Aubrey Marcus's first book, which is... So I'm going to get to that after Shoe Dog. But I like a lot of fiction. I like a lot, like Seth Godin is like Tim Ferriss. I like all those kinds of self-help guys. 4-Hour Work Week.
Yeah, I was reading that in Mexico on the beach, and I was just like, it feels good.
Yeah, Ryan Holiday. Like, so I read a lot of different stuff. So that's probably something I do a lot.
You have your own podcast?
Yeah. So at Fox 5, beyond like being on the More Show, which is our entertainment and lifestyle show, and hosting and reporting for that, and reporting on the morning news and having fun and all that stuff I do, I also kind of really kick-started the podcast element at Fox 5. So coming from radio, because I started really in radio with Howard Stern before television, I love long-form conversations like this. Like, to me, like, kind of like you with minerals, I live for conversations. Like, so...
He's so jocking my minerals. Yo, I'm telling y'all. Next interview, when he sings, I bet you it's going to be off that sea moss, okay?
I just want to see what these minerals look like. I mean...
It's like a capsule.
I want to see what it looks like.
With plants inside of it.
All
it's
right.
just a capsule. You can just swallow it.
You're going to give me one. No, I love this. And I think, listen, in our world, it's really weird because we're conditioned, and the way we are right now is we're either like willing to watch like a 30-second TikTok, or we're willing to like binge watch an entire show for hours upon hours. There's no middle ground.
Right.
You know, so it's either like you're like in for 3 minutes, or I'm gonna binge Yellowstone and sit in my house for 2 days and just watch everything. So to me, I think you can confront people and meet them in a lot of ways. And I think, as you saw in my reel, what I'm doing on TV, it's a lot of short form stuff. I think what we're doing here, right here, to have a long-form conversation, to connect with somebody deeply, to have conversations where there's not such a game plan and it's just flowing and we're getting into things. And I'm being funny with all the mineral stuff, but seriously, to get into those conversations where we learn a little bit about...
We learn from each other.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and I think that's the kind of conversations, this kind of conversation is what we need in society. I really believe in that deeply because I think people feel disconnected. I think people feel lonely. I think people feel like they don't know how to relate to people. I think there's like such a divide in society, and we're kind of like, if you're a Lakers fan, you're just reading the Lakers blogs. You're not reading anything about the Orlando Magic.
Right.
And I think that's not good when it comes to big, deep issues. And the truth is, a lot of the ways people are I'm being silly about it, but it's true. The way people are gonna get educated and a little bit of that dosage of information about minerals, about alkalines, about cleaning your blood, about plant-based, about the distinctions between veganism and plant-based, like, these conversations are getting started like this.
Yeah. Because
that person who's not maybe amenable to being plant-based, they're not going on Reddit to do like a whole rabbit hole of plant-based and why it's amazing. They're just not, that's not in their echo chamber.
Right.
So they might be the biggest fans of Redman in the world, and they might
and then
just
they hear something.
Right.
Yeah.
And they love Angela.
And that's why I love that I have 5 topics because I couldn't niche myself. You know, with YouTube, they're like, you have to find a niche. I'm like, I don't want to talk about just one thing.
Right.
I'm like, I have so much to fucking talk about,
right.
and I'm passionate.
Right.
Why can't I talk to a rapper one day and the next day I talk to someone about fucking cancer?
Right.
Or why can't I talk to a stripper one day
good.
and the next day I go to a restaurant? You know,
as long as you're engaged and excited and interested about it, I think it's good.
That's why I said there's no one like me, because there's no one delivering you so much information. Whether if you're an artist and you're trying to get your music heard,
right.
I can get you monetized on 30 platforms here.
Oh.
But say you're,
so why am I not singing? I should be singing right now.
I asked you.
I'm trying to get
this is your debut. Yeah.
My Spotify streams would be going through the roof.
Please don't post your Spotify streams. But yeah, I like that I can do different things, and like, you know, a lot of people don't know what I have in my arsenal because like I said, I don't want to push anything on anybody.
Right.
But if you personally need some help with certain real shit that people might not want to talk about, but if your mom's sick, your grandma's sick, your dad, your kid, I can definitely help you with certain information. That's all I can say.
And that's a great thing, and that's why it is. I love this. I really think. That's why I have a podcast, and that's why I push so hard on top of everything I do at Fox 5. I feel like it's so important to have. I have 2 podcasts at Fox 5, and I do that because I want to be able to meet people and make an impact in different ways. Not everybody is willing to watch more from 10 to 11 every weekday morning and is there. Some people might be at work. Some people, they're not going online to watch the clips after. So I want to be able to connect with people in any way I can, in a way that makes sense to me. And I think in the future, I really want to have a situation where I'm able to do both at a very high level. Because I do think the impact from a podcast and the way that people engage with this,
they love them.
It's so much different than a TikTok. Like you and me, there's room for TikToks. There's room for Reels.
That's more of a younger generation though that wants to get quick satisfaction, because people that are 30s or above, they'll take the hour to listen to our show, right? To hear it, rather than just going on a reel and being like, it's like the new generation is so quick they don't have any stimulation. Right. Whereas when, from where we came from, we didn't have internet, we didn't have things, you really had to kind of work to push it out. And now that we're in this element to where you can put one thing on 17 platforms and it can go viral. But it's different than if people are going to really sit down and listen to this hour of your content and really want to learn information. And
I just think it's the way that people are interacting or engaging with that content. I think there's room, like, to me, TikTok's like eating a granola bar. Like, I'll have a granola bar during the day. Some days, like, I don't eat a lot in the morning.
I fucking hate TikTok.
But I'm just saying, like, there's
I've tried.
There's a need for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the go. I need to have my granola bar. Like, I can't always just sit down and have, like, a nice piece of halibut, and
that's why you post the little clips.
Right. So so there's room and there's necessity for that in our culture. I just think the sustenance and the quality and the experience of what you're getting from committing a little bit more to listen to that podcast and to have that engagement, it's a totally different experience, and you're really getting something where you're learning a lot. You're learning about people in a better way. It's very hard to get those same nutrients from a 15-second clip than the nutrients think about all the minerals that people are getting from this podcast right now. The nutrients.
You're going to see him 6 months from now, I promise y'all. He's going to be like clean shaved. He's going to have a 1.5. He's going to be on his sea moss and his blood purifier, and he's just going to be like this, ready to go. Just like, I'm sorry I ever talked shit on your minerals.
I'm willing to try.
You can afford it. You got it. Well, we've already overstayed our welcome, and I really appreciate you staying the time and hanging out, which means you had a good time.
Of course.
Shout out to Gambit here in Henderson for having us. Thank you so much. And shout out to Barcode Burgers at their affiliate, where you just saw Top Dollar. And thank you to Mike Davis. Thank you so much for being here. Did you have a good time?
Amazing. Great time. Even better than I expected.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was better than he expected. He learned minerals. He learned a lot, right?
We learned a lot. I think the biggest thing we learned is, if I'm in a Trader Joe's, just do me the favor and introduce yourself to me.
If you're looking at the cotton candy grapes,
you
need to.
That's not. Don't even. That's who you think I am? You think I'm cotton candy grapes?
I'm saying if you're both looking at
Wow.
that.
I mean, to get from cotton
Don't be
candy-
shy. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Just say hi, and I like regular grapes.
But you need to say hi to her. That was the point of it.
Okay, I'm gonna.
You
do
got to
that.
come up and say hi to her. Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm Mike Davis.
Hi, how are you? What's your name? That's what you said.
Yeah, what's your name?
Right.
How you doing?
Ew. Did you happen to see my appearance on the Faded Truth
No,
podcast?
that's not where we go.
That's not.
No.
That could be the first thing you say. Don't even say hi, hello. Hi, did you see my appearance on Faded
Did you
Truth?
see Faded Truth?
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, yes. All right, y'all. So our mic died in the last fucking couple minutes of this conversation. So we just wanted to like tap out on the camera mic. We went way over. We lost batteries on everything, camera, mic, and everything, which means it was a good episode. And thank you to Mike Davis again.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
That was great.
You're the first. You win the trophy. You're the first one to like knock out all the batteries.
I'm
better
a
than a vibrator.
I'm a talker.
Until
I'm a
next
talker.
time, peace.
Came up from the basement, broke the stairs to the pavement. Conquer shawty, I'm skating. Spit fire, I'm blazing. No, I'm always in chasing.